Welcome. Today is the last day of the year. Tomorrow is 2023. Welcome to the last edition of the Words of Jesus for this year and my broadcast for this year. The next time I see you again will be next year. Today we'll look at something Jesus said in Luke 23:31 to start our year. But let's enjoy this song first. You need a heart of courage in the coming year because of the things in the year. And so I pray for you a heart of courage from the Epic Collection 2 Steps from Hell. Good morning. Thanks for joining me. Yes, that's a heart of courage from 2 Steps from Hell. To finish playing in a minute, and we'll look at the text briefly. Thanks for joining me. Good morning. Yeah, that is a heart of courage from the Epic Collection 2 Steps from Hell. Good morning. Thanks for joining me on my Saturday morning broadcast known as the Words of Jesus. I'll be trying to study Jesus' words. Yes, Jesus made a statement. It was more of a question, but it was an expression, a statement, more of an idiomatic expression in Luke 23:31, shortly before he went on the cross. And that is my focus for this morning. I know a lot of people have said 2022 generally for the world has been bad, but generally for the world, 2023 is going to be worse. That is why I decided to share this particular text today. Of course, the reason why it's going to get worse is that God is judging the whole world, removing certain things. By judging the whole world, I mean the whole world. He's judging nations, he's judging families, he's judging individuals, he's judging businesses. Bible says God always comes in. The Bible makes it clear to reap, to uproot those who are very wicked from time to time. And leave the rest. That's what God does. God judges periodically. It's just that when the wickedness become extreme, God has to remove that. Otherwise, the innocent and others are in danger. So there's a judgment which is going on around the world. Whether I believe it or not, it's not a problem. It is happening. And wickedness is being removed. Wickedness is being dealt with at a level. It doesn't mean there will be no more wickedness in the world. There will be, but a certain form of extreme one which has extended to the throne of God and which is making people question God, God will remove it. The holy angels and creatures of God who guard the jealousy of God, they ensure that humanity does not deteriorate beyond a certain point. So when they see that certain things are happening, whether in nations, in families, in the whole generation, they deal with it. There are creatures and spirits and powers which guard the jealousy of God to the extent that if it is necessary, they will call for the destruction of the entire human race just to safeguard the jealousy and the integrity of God. This human age, this age we are living in, this generation can all be wiped out. God can decide to wipe out this whole generation of human beings. He will not lose anything. He will not stop being God. He wiped out Sodom and Gomorrah. He destroyed Chorazin, all those states. Look at all the disasters which has happened to civilizations. God can do it. It's not. When the wickedness reaches a point, God does it. God can wipe out families. God can wipe out businesses. God can do all those things. Don't let anybody fool you that God doesn't judge. That is only a loving Father. So, in fact, His judgment is He judges and removes wickedness because of His loving nature. Because He cannot allow the wicked to be so wicked that they threaten and destroy the righteous and the innocent. So when they get wicked and now their attempt is to destroy the righteous and the innocent, God has to remove them before they remove the people. For example, Haman, God removed him before He will destroy Mordecai and the Jews. Hitler, God had to remove them. So God does things like that. And He does that in love. Don't let anybody fool you that when God is dealing with wicked people and covenant Satan, children of Satan want to destroy mass murderers, then why is that God will kill them? Why will God destroy them? God should lead them so that they will destroy other people. You think that is more righteous? That is what your sense of your philosophy or your sense of perspective gives you. That we should leave wicked people for them to go on destroying righteous people. No, God is smarter than that. So Jesus made a statement in Luke 23:31 shortly before He went on. We all know the story. This was when they had arrested Him, taking Him to Pilate. Pilate also took Him to Herod. They were asking Him several questions. He was not minding them. And Pilate realized that Jesus was an innocent man. All these charges these Jews had brought against Him, Pilate, being a Roman, realized that no, this thing, it was just out of anger and bitterness by these Jewish rulers because they saw the guy becoming popular, making more impact and things. So, but Pilate was also a political person, and he realized that the people, he didn't want to cause confusion in the people in the place. So he realized that okay, the person is a good person. He's been healing people, healing their sick, raising their dead, feeding them and things. It is a political tradition that we release a prisoner to these Jews to mark their Passover every time. As since Jesus is a good man, when I ask these people that who should I release to them, Jesus Christ or an armed robber, I'm sure because they know that He has healing power, He heals people, they will say, let me release Jesus Christ to them. But Pilate didn't understand what was happening in the spirit. In the spirit, Satan has taken over, was thinking that, and the powers of this earth, thinking that when they crucify Jesus Christ, when they get Him out of the world, they have succeeded. They didn't know that that was all part and furtherance of God's plan. May your enemies work for you. May they also, what they think they are doing, conspiring against you, may it all work for you and I. May it work to our exaltation and to our greater glorification. Amen. So all these people were doing all this, and Satan has taken over them, and they was doing all these things all to fulfill scripture. So Pilate said, okay, let me release for you Jesus. They said, no. They went to stir the whole other people whom Jesus' eyes opened, people who He fed and everything. Sometimes I don't understand it all. It's as if the people, they forget. People easily forget. So they said, no. Away with this fellow. This Jesus God. Yes, we know you say he's a good man, Pilate, but we are not interested in that. Finish him. Remove him. We don't care about him. You know, it is not enough to be known as a good person or to be a good person. You need to have the presence and power of God with you. All people who walk with God, they were preserved by the power of God. Because your goodness, the way it's annoying someone, you have no idea. And I'm not just talking about human beings. Human beings are the least people which your goodness even troubles, per se, so to speak. I'm talking about principalities and powers, wickedness. You see, because these principalities and powers, they've modeled wickedness and unrighteousness. So when they see someone living a good and righteous life, they know, they understand the effect of that it has an effect spiritually, which means that a lot more human beings are drawn to live the second lifestyle. So they like to take out. That's why in Akan actually they say something like Nipa Papa and Chair and all those kinds of things. All those things are things which have been programmed by the enemy for people to see so that they can continue fooling. and destroying righteous people. And so the people said, away with Jesus Christ, crucify Jesus Christ. We know he's a good man, but crucify him. And Pilate was shocked. Pilate was shocked that this man has healed your sick, raised your dead, fed you and everything. I'm saying, should I release him or an armed robber? People are telling me that I should release an armed robber and then rather crucify a righteous man. So Pilate was shocked. And so Jesus was being carried to be crucified. And as I read for you from Luke 23 and 27, and a great multitude of people followed him, and women who also mourned and lamented him. They were rather lamenting for him, that he's going to be killed. But Jesus, turning to them, said, daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For indeed the days are coming in which they will say, blessed are the barren wombs that never bore, and breasts which never nursed. Then they will begin to say to the mountains, fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. Now this is my text, my emphasis for this morning. For if they do these things in the green wood, what will be done in the dry? Let me explain to you what Jesus Christ meant. What Jesus Christ meant was that all the people knew he was innocent, including the Romans and his people. An innocent and good man. And yet because of wickedness and ambition and whatever they wanted to do, being taken by the devil, he, a good man, they condemned him to death, to be destroyed, to be hanged to death. Jesus was therefore asking that if they do these things to the green wood, what will be done to the dry? What he means, Jesus was simply saying that if I, who you people acknowledge as a good person, you people are ready to crucify me, what do you think the Romans especially will do to you Jews when you people start your insurrection against them? And this is something which happened in history. You remember the Romans came and ransacked and destroyed the second era temple. Jesus Christ prophesied that this temple will be destroyed 70 AD. They came to destroy it. That was what Jesus was talking about. Now if these Romans they are doing this thing to me, a good person who has not rebelled against them, what will be done to you people, you Jews? Because you Jews are going to rebel against the Romans, who are your governors, who are over you and who are over the whole world at the time. Essentially what Jesus was saying was that things were going to get worse. 2023, generally around the world, things will get worse before they get better getting to the end of the year. That is generally in the world. But as Christians, we must understand that God always have a remnant whom he preserves and protects and provides for. During the days of the judgment in Egypt, during the 10 plagues, all the plagues were happening. There was a land called Goshen where the children of Israel were. They didn't suffer those plagues. Their firstborns were not killed. They didn't suffer all those things. Because when God is judging, God distinguishes between the righteous and the unrighteous, the just and the unjust. 2023 will continue to be a year of judgment. 2022 has been a year of judgment and the destruction of the wicked who threaten the righteous. God himself is doing it, and he's going to continue in 2023 in greater dimension. Jesus Christ said, if they do this to the green tree, what will be done to the dry? You understand? Yes, 2023, a lot of things have happened. 2022, but 2023 is going to be a compounding of it. My prayer is that God will preserve you, your family, and my family, your loved ones, and my loved ones, and whatever concerns you. That whatever concerns you will be in Goshen. Goshen will be in the land where there will be remnants, where the land, the judgment will be spared judgment in mercy. There is judgment upon the whole world, but people will be spared in mercy. It's my prayer that you and whatever concerns you will find that mercy. Your business will find that mercy. Your relationship will find that mercy. Your marriage will find that mercy. Your children will find that mercy. Your nation will find that mercy. Whatever concerns you will find that mercy. May you and I find mercy in the sight of God. Because trust me, 2023 will be a continuation in greater dimension of the things which has happened in 2022. It will only get better getting to the end of the year, in the last quarter, generally. But the righteous will still possess and prosper in the land, because God must judge the wicked for the righteous, for the people who are more righteous to take over. It said concerning the children of Israel that the reason why he caused them to go around for 40 years was because the iniquity of the Amorites was not complete. The Amorites were the people who were occupying the promised land at the time. So their iniquity and their sins had to be complete. Their idolatry had to be complete for God to judge them so that he can give the land to Israel. So that's why he caused them to go around. But when the time came, he judged the Amorites, the people in the land, and gave the land to his people, to Israel. God is judging the people who are in possession of the things which are supposed to be ours. God is judging them so that we will possess it. The people who are got the remnant to possess it. But for the rest of the world, it will be judgment. So brace yourself, and if there's anything you and I should do in the coming year, we should get closer to God in our walk with Him, serve Him more faithfully, and always ask for His direction so that we and everything which concerns us will be preserved. Happy New Year in advance. See you on 2nd January with Monday Morning VP. Good morning. Thanks for joining me.